This month on DeFranco Book Club, we covered Sleeping Beauties. And I'll start right from the beginning. I was really excited. I've never read a Stephen King book, so I was a little intimidated by the length of it, sitting at over 25 hours long. But I was excited to see how it was going to do. And to be frank, I was kind of disappointed. It just felt like they were showing so many different characters at you so fast. I mean, in the beginning, we spend like what 2 or 3 minutes per character, and then we switch to another one, and then we're like, okay, so you're getting pulled in so many directions. I had no idea who I was supposed to be paying attention to. Like, we were 15 hours into the book, and I still didn't know who the main character was, who I was supposed to be rooting for or caring about. They just shoved so many different characters in your face and then quickly started killing them off, which, good for them. I'm glad that they actually do that. A lot of people things try to shy away from killing characters, but I mean, to me personally, the most memorable death that hit me the hardest was Lenny from the police station, and I felt like they spent the least amount of time on her death. It's just kind of sad. Like, I don't know. I just didn't feel the connection to the characters because we had so many that we were supposed to be paying attention to that I just couldn't care about them, unfortunately. And then when we finally got to the big climactic battle at the prison, it was really anticlimactic. I mean, we spent 20 plus hours building up to this fight that they had been talking about for ages, and then they finally bust in the prison. I'm like, yeah, how's the big last standoff gonna be? And then it's like, oh, she cures one old dude from having a heart attack, and they just kind of accept it. That doesn't feel like what would actually happen. I'm sorry, these people are like, they already knew that she was some kind of supernatural being because she could fall asleep regular and wake up. So how did this one little thing go, oh, I guess we'll just stop killing people and trust her? It didn't seem appropriate to me. Maybe this book wasn't a good representation of a Stephen King novel, and I'm sure you guys will let me know, but personally, until I get someone that really tells me otherwise, I have no desire to try and pick up another Stephen King novel. One thing they didn't really touch on that I'm not sure if I missed it or not, but they didn't say whether the other women of the world also had their own our place. I know that they said that the dueling women were representations for everyone else, and they were the ones that got to choose whether the women came back or stayed in that place. But they didn't say what the other women experienced while they were in their cocoons. Were they just felt like they were asleep? Did they not experience anything over the 5 days that you actually did get attached to? They didn't get a happy ending. They were kind of worse off even than they started. So it's like, what was even the point of this whole thing? Sure, they were like, oh, the men are going to try and be better, but that's kind of like a wishy-washy end for me. Personally, it just wasn't satisfying. I don't want it to sound so negative. Like, I'm not saying that it was an overly bad story or the writing was terrible. The characters weren't bad. It was just the fact that it was so drawn out and there were so many characters that they were trying to make us care about. I personally couldn't get attached to them. I'm not saying it's a bad book. It just was not a book for me. Obviously, I knew I wasn't going to love all the books that we were going to cover, but I've loved the first two we did, so hopefully next month is going to be better for me. and then we'll get back to all the things I love about the books. But yeah, this one, just not for me.